And getting you the latest visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi landing in Ujjain ahead of that very crucial inauguration of the Mahakal temple corridor. There are massive arrangements that have been made, preparations which are underway, and this is a big project. Over 800 crore rupees have been spent so far in the first phase. The development work is still underway. You can see the top leadership of the BJP which is present. The Prime Minister has landed there, and after Kashi Vishwanath, it is this temple, the Ujjain Mahakal temple, that enjoys a very, very special place in the Hindu belief system, which is getting an uplift by the present government. The state government and the central government have carried on this project, not only on the religious sentiment bit, but the overall infrastructure development will also lead to better tourism in the state of Madhya Pradesh, which is known for its temples, for its scenery, and for the unexplored potential of tourism, which can be further developed in the state. Today's inauguration is a big step forward, keeping in mind that this is one temple, this is one area which has always suffered and lagged in terms of development. Now, I'm going to put out the tweet that has been put out by the Prime Minister. There are some details which are being put out that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has landed in Indore, where he was welcomed by the ministers. And usually when you have to go to Ujjain, you take a flight to Indore, and then by road you reach Ujjain. He has been welcomed by ministers Dr. Narottam Mishra, Tulsi Silawat, and former speaker. We also have other dignitaries who are present there. Pranshu Mishra getting us all the details. Pranshu, the Prime Minister has landed in Indore, and from there he will be en route to Ujjain. How long does that usually take?
Yes, that's right. He has been welcomed by the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh along with other dignitaries at the Indore airport, and from there I think he'll be taking a chopper down to Ujjain, which is almost 60 kilometers from Indore. So I think next half an hour and he should be here in Indore, and that is as per the schedule, because the schedule was that Prime Minister was scheduled to land in Indore at around 5 p.m. and then from there he was supposed to come to Ujjain, and in Ujjain of course this entire event will start. So the initial thing is that he will be first going and taking a tour of this new grand Mahakal corridor, which comprises of around 900 meters of pedestrian walkthrough, starting from the Nandi Dwar, which has been built, and from Nandi Dwar around 900 meters to the Mahakal temple, and in between there are several spots which will which can actually force anyone to stop and have a look. There's a beautiful lotus pond which has been developed. Then the lake along the Mahakal temple, that has been beautifully brought up. There is around 96 sculptures and statues of Lord Shiva and various saints and seers that have been placed and built and placed at various spots along the corridor. And then of course there is a grand wall which runs parallel to this pedestal walkthrough, and it has the sculptures and engravings from various Shiv Purans and lives of Lord Shiva, and various mythological incidents have been brought in live on there. So I think Prime Minister will clearly stop at some portions of that corridor, will see, visualize, get a sense of what it is development is, and then of course he will go to the Mahakal temple, where he is most likely to participate in the Sandhya Aarti. That is what we have been told. Sandhya Aarti time is generally after sunset, so I think that will be the time Prime Minister would be there doing a Sandhya Aarti, going to the Garbhagriha, offering his prayers, and from there at around 7:30 p.m. He will be going down to the Kartik Mela Ghat, which is around a kilometer from the Mahakal temple premises, and there he would be addressing the rally. So Prime Minister at that point would express his sentiments, his emotions after visiting the city of Mahakal, the custodian of life and death. So it will be interesting to see what Prime Minister says. But before that, Prime Minister probably next half an hour would be here among us at the Mahakal temple, and of course he would be inaugurating the newly constructed phase 1 of Mahakal corridor, which comprises of around 20 acres of newly built area that has been beautifully developed, and it would be a delight for anyone who comes here and sees the Mahakal temple.
Okay. Pranshu, I want to talk to you because I remember you've tracked the Kashi Vishwanath corridor development work as well. And whenever development works of these nature are taken, they are very intricate and complicated in nature, for the simple reason that these are old localities where they are situated in. There are old structures that you have to take care of. While you're creating new monuments, new structures, or an uplift is being given, you also have to preserve the old heritage that comes in. So clearly a very critical project this is. This is not like any other infrastructure development project.
Yes, that's right. But if you compare it to the Kashi's Vishwanath corridor, I think in Ujjain there was not much of that sort of hurdle. Varanasi being much more an ancient city, much more congested.
Yeah.
There were initially, some disputes. Some people objected to their lands and temples being taken over. But in case of Ujjain and in case of Mahakal corridors development project, the administration didn't encounter that sort of hurdles, and that's the reason why 2.7 acres of land. So initially, I mean, have you been here, say a couple of years back before this project was conceived, it was just a 2.7 acres of land. The temple was surrounded by narrow bylanes on all the sides, but now the entire area would be spreading in more than 47 acres. 20 acres of it is the phase 1 that is going to be inaugurated by the Prime Minister today. So compared to Kashi, yes, it is an exercise almost on the similar scale. Almost 800 crores of budget has been sanctioned for it. But in terms of logistical nightmare, I think execution of the Ujjain Mahakal corridor project has been a far lesser challenge in terms of logistic challenge as compared to the Kashi Vishwanath corridor.
Pranju, please continue to stay with us on the broadcast. I want you to be a part of this discussion. Uday Mahur